My stomach just dropped. I was like, what the f? He just dropped my bike. Hey, good morning YouTube family. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Benji and I make moto vlogs on my Kawasaki Ninja 300. As you can tell by the title of today's video, this is the story all about how my friend dumped my bike and I thought she was gone. I thought she was see ya, good night, bye bye for this bike, but clearly I'm still riding it. So I'm just gonna start from the start. So I got this bike in October and I started riding it December 25th on Christmas Day. I had posted a photo on my social media of me on the bike and stuff, and I had a friend comment on it and he was like, wow, that's so cool, I've always wanted to get into bikes, blah blah blah. And we started chatting about bikes and things. Oh, another biker, I'm gonna say hi. Hello. Okay, never mind. I hate it when they don't nod back. It's like, come on dude. Now, to preface this video, bit of back history. Basically, the way that we know each other is because I used to volunteer with Red Cross to teach refugees how to drive cars to get their licenses. He is a driving instructor, so he teaches people how to drive as his job. So he was one of the instructors that took us as volunteers through the program and sort of taught us how to teach other people. With this being said, I had a lot of faith in him, in that he was a driving instructor, and I sort of like, out of everyone I knew, I kind of trusted him the most. So basically he wanted to book in for his learner license, but because it's summer here in New Zealand, I mean, you can't bloody tell from these clouds, the queue to do your course to get your learner license in New Zealand is quite long, only because, you know, it's peak motorcycle season and everyone's trying to get their license. So it was going to be like over a month's wait for him to get his license. So I thought I would be a really nice person, and I said to him, you know what, why don't we go out for like a quick lesson on my bike and I'll sort of teach you the basics with clutch control and, you know, like using the throttle and things, just so that you can get a feel for it, so that when it does come time to do your test, you're a little bit more confident and you like, there's no chance of you failing kind of thing. And you know what, I actually said at the start of the lessons multiple times, actually I said this, I was like, hey, you know what, if you drop this bike, it's not such a big deal because it's been dropped before and you're going to be going at low speeds, so I don't think it's going to be too detrimental to the bike. I mean, one, I didn't think he was going to drop the bike because I was like, oh, he's a driving instructor, he knows, like, clearly that translates to riding a motorcycle, and even if he does, this bike's been dropped before, it'll be fine. Spoiler alert, it wasn't fine. What happened was he was practicing his friction zone and he was actually doing really well, and it was a massive parking lot, so he just kept going straight in a line all the way down to the end. And then it wasn't till he got to the end, and I think you guys can kind of tell where I'm going with this, but it wasn't until he got to the end of the parking lot and he needed to actually turn the bike around. Actually, I forgot to mention, my friend is about the same height as me. He's probably 5'4", I'm about 5'3". Now, this is a Kawasaki Ninja, so it's a relatively short bike compared to other motorcycles, and you know, people say it's supposed to be light. It's not bloody light. This thing is so bloody heavy for me, but I mean, in relation to other motorcycles, it's supposed to be a good beginner learner's bike because it's light and it's relatively low to the ground. Basically, he was at the end and he needed to turn around, and I think just because obviously he wasn't used to the weight of the bike, and then I hadn't taken him through, you know, like learning to turn your head and using kind of a little bit of your weight to turn the bike and all that kind of stuff. When it came time for him to turn the bike, obviously he freaked out a little bit. Well, he didn't really freak out, but he lost control of the bike is the best way I can put it. He came to turn the bike and then basically just dumped it. It all kind of happened like in slow motion, but also real instantly. That's the best way I can describe it, is that he just lost control and dumped the bike. My first reaction was, oh my god, is he okay? And then my second instantaneous reaction after that was, oh my god, he just dropped my bike. My stomach just dropped. I was like, what the f? He just dropped my bike. So I started running towards him. I was like, oh my god, are you okay? He was like, yeah, I'm fine. And then my like complete focus just shifted to the bike. I was like, oh my god, my bike, my poor bike. I managed, actually, I'm really proud of myself for this. I managed to pick the bike up by myself. I did the whole like with your back towards the bike and bending your knees and lifting it up. It was actually very light. I don't know if it was the adrenaline, but I did not notice the weight at all. I was just like, okay, get this thing up so I can inspect the damage. From what I could tell, it looked okay. Now this is, I'm going off memory here because I oh, twisty. Okay, be careful. I'm not very good at twisties at all. Oh god, oh god. Okay, okay, so picked the bike up, inspected it, it looked okay. I'm going off of memory, so I don't know if I had noticed this before or after I tried turning the bike on, but there was something wrong with the gear shift lever. Well, firstly, I couldn't turn the bike on. When he had dumped the bike, I had pressed the kill switch, and obviously, you know, that cuts power to the engine. And I kept trying to turn the bike on. I was like, why is it not turning on? And then my friend's like, dude, your kill switch is off. So then turned the bike on, tried, you know, riding it and going through the gears, and then realized that it wouldn't change gears. My gear shifter had been bent in from where the bike had been dumped, and I don't know anything about motorcycles, so I was like, uh-oh, something's wrong. Like this is not good. So then I kind of was like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? Like I'm gonna call my motorcycle mechanic, like surely he'll know what to do, blah blah blah. And my friend was like, no, it's okay, I've actually got a friend who's a motorcycle instructor that teaches people how to ride. I was like, oh, okay, well, that would have been good to know before we came out into this parking lot. He called his instructor friend, and the guy was like, yeah, this is why you don't use other people's motorcycles when you're learning how to ride a bike. You know, like this is why they have bikes on the course that they're happy for you to drop. So anyway, my friend ended up calling his mechanics, who work predominantly on cars, but they also have quite a few guys there that ride motorcycles as well. And the mechanic was like, well, you know, if she can only get it into first gear, it's not going to be safe to ride all the way to the mechanics, which were about 25 minutes away from where we were. So they were like, ride it to your house and we'll come and organize a tow truck to pick it up this afternoon. We go to get ready to leave and ride to my friend's house. And as soon as I start riding the bike and trying to shift it up, I realize that it can actually shift up into second, third, fourth and fifth gear. Riding on the way to the mechanics, I was able to get between fourth and fifth gear, and then all of a sudden the gear shifter had locked up, and about 5 minutes into the ride, I wasn't able to shift down from fifth gear. Wow, that's beautiful, look at that! Ah! So as soon as I realized I couldn't get out of fifth gear, I was like, holy crap, like please do not, like no red lights, no stops, please do not stop. And you know what? I got really lucky. We did not end up going through any red lights, through any stops. Like we went through one stop sign, but I kind of just like rolled through it, rode to the mechanics, and we got there and they had a look at the bike. And it's funny actually, because we dropped the bike off and we were like, oh yeah, we'll just wait like in the reception area, like you guys just like have a look at it when you get time. And I was expecting to be there for like 1-2 hours, you know, like waiting for them to figure out what was wrong. And 5 minutes into being in the reception room, they came out and were like, oh yeah, the bike's fixed. And we were like, what are you talking about? Like the bike is like, no, it's broken. And they're like, no, all you had to do was pull the gear shifter out. Actually, no, I forgot to mention, when my friend initially dumped the bike and we noticed that there was something wrong with the gear shifter, we actually tried to pull it out ourselves. I had like a mini toolkit in the back of the motorcycle, but it was terrible and we could not actually pull the gear shifter out ourselves. So that's actually, sorry, I forgot to mention that. Anyway, they came in and were like, yeah, all you had to do was pull the gear shifter out. And basically they fixed the bike within 5 minutes. So my friend and I were like, wow, that's lit, thank you. The mechanics did say that they were going to get us a replacement part for the gear shifter, which is about 20 bucks, I think. So the gear shifter I've got on right now is the one that's sort of been bent and bruised and all which way. But I mean, it's working, like I'm able to shift through the gears. I haven't noticed anything really wrong with it. Like I forget that it's kind of like broken and damaged, you know. I mean, I'm not too fussed. The gear shifter works and I wouldn't be mad if I never got a new gear shifter for the bike. No hate to my friend as well, like I'm not mad or like don't have any animosity towards him at all for dropping the bike. I mean, we're still friends. It wasn't his fault. He didn't mean to drop the bike, and even so I told him it was okay if he did drop the bike. So it's not a big deal. He dumped the bike, and now that's just a story that he can tell for when he gets his own bike and people ask him how he started riding motorcycles. And I mean, I guess it's a story for me to tell as well, for when people ask about the scratches on the side of my bike. Anyway, that's my story. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Happy riding, and don't dump the bike, kids.